Franchise Report, reporting live.
Franchise in the building, franchise report in effect on another mother effing day. Lovely Leticia here, hot in the ride here. Lezan, what is popping today?
Hello, hi. Thank you for having me here.
No problem,
excited.
No problem. Anytime. Why are you excited? Out of curiosity.
Honestly. I just love to share this information that I have with people. Honestly, just helping people out and being able to get them the information about buying homes and improving their financial literacy and just, sharing what I do.
Hey, first question. Definition of financial literacy.
So financial literacy is basically...
Second thing, you got to talk into that microphone.
Oh.
You can move it with you wherever you want.
Move
but
it,
you got to talk.
Don't hold on to it, but just pull it to you.
Yeah, you
pull
can
it
put wherever
towards
you
me.
want. There you
Is
go.
that better? All right.
Hold it.
So financial literacy is basically all the things that we weren't taught in school.
And you can let it go.
Oh,
I lied. No, I'm so sorry.
Lies.
You damn
lies.
rapping.
There you go. They did it.
We good?
Don't worry, I got an edit button, so you get to cut all that off. All right, you go
All
then.
right, go ahead.
All right, so it's basically like all the things that we weren't taught in school. So how to manage a bank account, your credit score, like what involves your credit score, how to build credit, how to buy a home, what do you need to build a home, what do you need to invest, how do you build wealth for your family, how do we end generational curses. So just providing that information about finances. And
So how long have you been into real estate and how long have you been into financial literacy?
so I've been doing
Teaching people.
teaching
about
people. So real estate I've been in for 5 years now, and financial literacy I've been in, I want to say a little over like 7 or 8 months in the company, like really sharing and helping people with it. I recently have just started like doing this more to get the word out there rather than just on Facebook because I want more reach. And I'm starting to expand my license into Rhode Island, so I want to expand to the communities over here.
Okay.
Where you from, Mass?
Yes, I'm from Massachusetts. I grew up in Dartmouth.
Dartmouth.
Okay.
Hey, what does it mean when the 'cause I never really knew this. When they say the market's up and the market's down, does that mean nobody's selling? Does that mean everything's expensive? Does that mean this is not the time? Like, what does that mean?
So right now we say that it's a seller's market. So basically what that means is that there's a really high amount of buyers on the market, but there's just not a lot of sellers on the market. So yeah, you have your sellers that are going to be able to kind of, so back in the day, well, not back in the day, but like a few years ago when you were buying a home before COVID, basically, you could ask the sellers for concessions, like for you to pay for my closing costs when I get to the end of the day, and to, you could bargain with your deal a little bit more. Now, after, we have interest rates that are much lower, so it's helping out buyers, but with such a high demand of buyers and not a lot of sellers, the sellers can be like, okay, well, this is what I want, and I'm not taking anything less because they know that there's so many people that are going to want to get that. And there's not a lot of demand. I mean, not a lot of demand, not a lot of supply.
So you said 5 years you've been selling.
Yes.
You've been into real estate. When would you say you actually seen that, okay, was it hard the first year, 2 years, 3 years? When would you actually say, okay, I seen a profit off of this?
So...
Because that's a big thing right now, real estate. I'm sorry to keep cutting you off.
No, don't worry. I kind of cut you off a little bit too. But...
My God, go ahead.
I grew up with my dad, and he flipped homes for a living, so I had a little bit of a one-up. And so when I first started, I did a lot of his homes. But to grow my own business, I found that it probably took me a good 2 years to get to where I am with my own pipeline and starting to have my own referrals coming in from other people. It's really tough at first because you have to build your own brand, and getting used to putting yourself out there on the social media and talking to people and door knocking and cold calling people. It's not as easy as you think it is, and I'm actually an introvert, so it was really tough for me at first.
Yeah, I will say you seem really, really quiet and just like not a people person, but not really. Have you ever sold a home and somebody came back and was like, "Girl, you sold me a dud"?
No, I have not had that yet. Knock on wood. Knock
Why are you
on
laughing,
wood.
franchise? That's a serious question. I can't stand him.
I know. Why are you
him.
laughing?
Because she really asked that. Like, you was really going to say, well, there was a time.
Listen, you want to be honest. You want to be honest. Like, yes, there was a time I didn't really know about the house, and because sometimes you may not know as a home seller, right?
No, you really may not know. And even as a buyer, I deal a lot with buyers, so I do first-time home buyers a lot. And even right now, I have a client, and she's told me, she's like, I was totally lost. She had another realtor before she met me, and in the past week, we got her under contract, and she called me actually today, and I was like kind of in shock because I'm quiet and I don't really think. I don't know. I do as much as I do sometimes, and she's like, like the way that you explained the situation and like broke it down for me, she's like, it was just awesome. She's like, this other realtor was just kind of like, you put in a deal in, you do this, and it wasn't accepted, whatever. I stand by my clients and making sure that they're understanding the process and you're getting through and you're going to get the best deal. And not only are you just getting the best deal, you're walking into a home that you love. Like, this is going to be either your forever home or the home that you're in for a long amount of time, or you're selling this home for a reason. What's that reason you're selling this home? I want to get down to that, and I'm going to solve that. So luckily, I haven't had those instances where...
Okay.
Let me see if you try to make this broad. Are you in your 20s or your 30s?
20s.
You're in your 20s.
So you're still
So
young.
I already know what your answer is going to be. But I was going to be like, on a realistic level, at what age would you suggest that people start thinking about getting into buying their own house? I know you're going to say young as possible. I know you're going to say 18, but that's not realistic.
No. So the youngest that I've seen buy is 21. I mean, when you're
21, you haven't lived life yet. You haven't lived life yet.
I wish my son would even think about getting an apartment at 21.
So,
Never mind.
Let me tell you something. Losing an apartment and losing a house is two totally different things.
Listen,
it
listen.
is.
But I wish he would think about something. He wants to live with me forever.
But at the same point, if you're taught the right things and you know how to manage your money, which is why I'm pushing financial literacy so much, because we're not taught that, how to properly manage and, okay, how do we create a budget, like, and actually stand by that budget and save and create those goals, because once we learn how to do all those things, it is possible at 21. And if you can buy a home at 21, like, just imagine all the things you can do with the rest of your life.
The way you're saying, just imagine if you could do that at 21. So realistically, your answer, what would you say is a decent age to say, you know what, now's the time to start worrying about a water heater and instead of just everything included. Now you got to pay the oil bill. Now you got to pay the water. What age is the right age to start worrying about that type of living?
So can I take it away from age and put it to maturity or
No,
your job? No. All right. I got it. So age, I'm going to say probably around like 25.
Okay.
25 is good.
And
I would say I had my head on.
Now go ahead with your maturity answer. What was you going to say with
maturity and like job-wise stability? When you have a job that you've been at for at least a year, you're making the same amount of income, you can manage your car payments, you can save them. You need to, so for a down payment on a home, FHA loan, you need to have 3.5% on a home. So say that home costs $225,000, you're gonna have to put we'll call it $7,500 down on that home. And then in this market right now, you also have to have closing costs. Closing costs can be anywhere between
before you move in.
This is purchasing your home, yes.
With that being said, are there a lot of first-time home buyers programs?
Yes, there are a lot of first-time home buyers programs. I can connect you with lenders that can go through your finances, discover what your situation is, and find those programs for you. So there's a lot of different aids for you to get to that home, especially if you're a first-time home buyer.
Okay.
My last question, I'm going to leave you alone. All right, see how she's saying she wants her son to get out? How's your son?
21.
All right, 21. Say he was 25. Would you advise him to get a house or an apartment? Just leaving mom's nest. Do you advise him to get a house or an apartment at the age of 25? And they got a job.
He has a good job.
He has a good job?
Yes.
Good head on his shoulders?
Yes.
First time out the house, though. Be honest.
She's like,
oh, yeah.
First time owner, I would say, I've seen both, but I would say personally.
I see you shaking over there.
Personally, I would say buy a home first.
Buy a home
because so if you buy a 3-family, it's a lot more to worry about. You do have tenants to worry about, so it's not just yourself, especially stepping out at a younger age. You're just somewhat learning how to manage yourself and all these other things, like a heater if it breaks, the laundry, the lawn, and everything that comes up with owning a home. So I would definitely say start out with your own home first because.
Okay, and not a 3-family, your own home.
Your own home.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Anything you want to say we didn't get to ask you?
So a little bit on financial literacy.
Yes, that part.
So a lot of people, like over 55% of millennials actually, they overspend, which is a big thing with budgeting. You don't realize that most of your friends around you are just spending. All right, you're doing it, I'm doing it, and in all reality, we're just swiping that credit card, not paying attention. A couple of tips I want to throw out there is just, if you have a credit card, make sure you're only putting 30% on that credit card. So if your limit's $1,000, make sure that you're only spending up to $300.
Now you tell me. Spring break?
Well, these are the things that we don't learn. And so another thing is that your payment history is 30% of your credit score. So if you make one late payment, your credit score is going to drop between 20 to 121 points. Just one late payment.
And is it always good to pay the minimum, or should you pay more than the minimum?
So a trick with that actually
It's
is
no trick. Always pay more. There's no. Be honest,
it is. You always want to pay more, but also, no matter what you pay, even if you can only afford the minimum payment, you want to make sure that you're paying half of it in the first 4 days of the month, and then 4 days before that payment is actually due, you want to pay the rest of that bill off. So what that does is it tricks the credit bureaus into thinking that you made 2 payments that month. So then they're like,
say that one more time. Say that one more time.
All
Say that
right.
one more time.
that's a big nugget.
That was a good question.
Say that one more time.
So when you make payments, you want to make sure that whatever amount it is, say that you make the minimum payment at $75, you want to pay half of that. So $30 on the first, like I say 3 days of the month, or first 14 days before it's due. This second half of that amount you're going to pay, so the $35, you're going to pay 3 days before that bill is actually due. 3 days before, not on the day, 3 days before at least, because it's tricking them. They think, all right, you put these extra payments in and you paid ahead of your actual due date. You weren't waiting until that grace period.
Right.
You paid ahead.
Any other pointers? Any other tips?
That's a good idea!
Off the top of my head right now. No, I can't think right now.
No. You definitely gave us a lot
Yeah,
to work with.
definitely.
And you gotta let us know the best way to find you.
Best way to find me, I'm on Facebook, Lezan Hodge. I'm also on Instagram. My first name, Lezanh, on Instagram, or you can call me as well, 508-837-7632.
About to have
Start
all types
dropping
of
the number out there
Yeah.
like that. You sure?
Yeah,
about to have
it's my
all
business
type of,
number, don't worry.
Oh, balling. Yeah, balling, baby. That's the third phone. Greatly appreciate you, and you definitely dropped the gem. You dropped a couple things I didn't know about. You definitely dropped some things I didn't know about, and I'm glad that we can provide somewhere where you can actually put out the info you want to put out to the people that you want to hear.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Oh, and one more place. Financial Literacy for Everyone is a group that we're building. So it's going to be dropping tips like that constantly. Yes. So Financial Literacy for Everyone. Lamont and I, we're doing that just to share those tips like that we don't know about that will make a big difference in our lives. For sure.
All right, well, fuck all that. Let's cut these mics off and talk taxes.
Lamont was over here being tight.
Let's cut this mic off and talk taxes. How did Trump do it?